video on lemon possets, but I'm going to do it a different way than I normally do. In the pan I've got 3 litres of double cream, so the heavy cream, the really thick stuff, and I brought it up to the boil. You need to be careful when you bring it up to the boil. You don't want to burn the sides of the pan, because that will burn the cream. That's not what you want. It's come up to the boil, and to stop it from boiling over, I'm going to put some sugar in. So I'm kind of halfway through the process, but I'm going to be talking anyway. So as it was coming up the pan, it was in danger of boiling over. You can add the sugar in at the start of the process and bring the cream up to the boil with the sugar, but there's more of a risk of burning, and also it's difficult to kind of, if the cream wants to boil over, difficult to kind of cool it down if you're kind of not watching it not too carefully. So if you boil the cream first, then add the sugar as it's coming up to boil. It will cool the cream down enough that it won't boil over, because we don't want to boil cream over because it makes a mess and it's a waste, and we'll also lose some of the cream and it'll kind of affect the recipe. So what we need to do now is bring it a little bit more control. So turn the heat back up a little bit and bring it up to a rolling simmer, and we're going to simmer it for 5 minutes. So we can keep an eye on it and we'll see how we go. So normally when I make a lemon posset, it is double cream, sugar, and then lemon juice and zest. But I was kind of thinking to myself, I have got some citric acid, which I was using something else, this kind of stuff. And I was thinking, can we actually not use lemon juice? Can we actually make it with citric acid instead? Not that kind of dissimilar in kind of taste, and kind of quite interesting, and also squeezing the juice out of all those lemons is quite a time-consuming job. So I was just kind of curious to see if we can make it with citric acid, and I was doing another project with just lemon juice, and I didn't need the zest, so I zested lots of lemons, kept the zest and put it in the freezer, because I kind of thought I might be able to use that at some point. Put the zest, chopped it up into the freezer, and then so I've got some zest as well. So I actually have got some zest, but you don't actually need to make a posset with the zest. I just think it adds just a little kind of bit more flavour to it. So I'm going to put some zest in. I had it in the freezer, so it should work the same kind of way as when you make a proper lemon posset with lemon juice. I'm making 3 litres worth, which is about 30 odd portions, maybe 32, 33 portions, something like that. So I'm making quite a bit, and the recipe I'm using is, so I kind of worked it out, but I'll say it out loud, and then I can remember as I'm doing the video. So it's 3 litres of cream, 750 grams worth of sugar, and then 25 grams worth of citric acid, and I think because it would be about, how many lemons would it be? It would be 12 lemons worth to set that amount of cream. I'm sure that's right. Yeah, 12 lemons worth to set that amount of cream. We're going to put in about 6 teaspoons of zest. If I was using juice, it would be about 600 millilitres worth of juice, which is about 12 lemons. 12 good sized lemons anyway. So just keep an eye on this. It's not up to a rolling simmer yet, but it needs to be. And we need to simmer it for 5 minutes. I don't know why, actually. I don't know why. It's just a recipe I've always followed. I don't know. I've never thought about just bringing it up to the boil and then throwing in the sugar and then throwing in the lemon juice and lemon zest and making them that way. I've never tried it that way. I suppose maybe I should do it at some point, because letting it simmer for 5 minutes, I don't know why. I don't know if it just concentrates the sugar a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure. So, do we need to see me waiting for this to come up to a rolling boil? Yes, because we need to kind of show what a rolling simmer is, and you need to be careful because it's going to want to spill out over the top of the pan. So you kind of need to get it to the right kind of simmer, which isn't that easy. You need to be a little bit more careful with it, turning it up and turning it down. Is there anything else I need to add? No, I think that's it. that's it. Yeah, so the juice and zest of about 12 lemons, which is about 600 milliliters of juice. Hopefully, that's my calculations right. Hopefully, my calculations right. But then a conversion of using citric acid instead of lemons, it's about 25 grams worth of citric acid. So it doesn't look like a lot, does that citric acid? But hopefully it will set it. Hopefully. But we don't add it yet because it will want to. I think at this stage it'll probably want to split it. Split the cream into curds and whey, and we don't want to make cheese. We want to make a lemon posset. But anyway, this is the bit where I normally turn away for 30 seconds, and then it wants to boil over. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be here, paying attention for a change, and maybe doing a bit of washing up, which I shouldn't be doing. I should be paying attention to what I'm doing. But I'm not that happy unless I'm doing two jobs at once. But once it's come up to the rolling simmer, then we'll then I'll shut the video. You don't need to keep rolling simmering for 5 minutes. That's pretty boring. Said least. Oh, there we go. Right, so it's starting to simmer. It doesn't want to be simmering much more than that. So turn the heat down. Keep an eye on it. It's that fine balance of not letting it boil over, but not letting it just sit there, not moving at all. And you've got to be careful with pans as well, because if a pan's got a thick bottom, it retains the heat a lot longer. So if something's going to boil over in a thick bottom pan, there's not much you can do to stop it from boiling over. Not even taking it off the heat will make a difference, because there's a residual heat in the bottom of the pan. Right, so that's about as simmering as it wants to be. So set the timer 5 minutes, and then we'll be back in 5 minutes. Right, so as you can see, it's slowly creeping up the size of the pan. I will add, it's best off to make this in quite a deep pan, and then it gives you plenty of opportunity for it to rise up the pan, and you catch it before it boils over. So now I just need to turn it down slightly. The residual heat in the pan will keep it simmering, and it will carry on rising up the pan for a little while before it kind of gets back to a lower temperature with the gas that's underneath it. So, but that's fine for the moment. We've got about another 3 minutes to go, something like that. So that's fine. We can just let it carry on just like that. I don't think it's sticking. The bottom, you just need to keep checking. You don't want it sticking. If it does, if you do notice that it's starting to stick, you need to take the pan off the heat, and you need to transfer the cream into a container or into another pan, and then carry on the process. Once it's starting to burn, you know, you need to change pans, or into a container, wash the pan out, a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan, pour the cream back in, start the process again. Right, we're there. So we've had 5 minutes. Turn off the heat. Just let it go back down to the bottom of the pan. So, and then we need to think about putting in the citric acid. I don't know whether to just add a little bit of citric acid, a little bit of the cream to the citric acid. I think I might do. So what kind of? I reckon that's about 2 teaspoons. That's about a teaspoon. Well, we'll do 6 teaspoons of zest. 3. 4, 5, 6. So that's the zest in. Give that a stir. Don't think you could defrost the zest. You want a bit more than that. Maybe another one. Maybe a little bit more. I don't want to defrost the zest because there's a danger that the freezing process will have damaged the zest. And if you defrost it, it might go brown, which is not what I wanted. But if we defrost it straight into the cream like that, it should be okay. If there's a disaster, I'll have to start again. But I don't think it will be. Do that there. Right. Now, do I add a little bit of that cream to that citric acid? I think so. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm just putting that away. So, ladle, and then we'll see what happens. You might split it. We'll just have to see. That in there. And then mix it around, and then into there. It's already starting to set it. Right, so I suppose I better give it a taste as well. So, where's my teaspoon? Should have kept a teaspoon. I didn't. I'll get another one. I think it's lemony enough. Is it lemony enough? Not particularly very lemony. Maybe it needs a bit more. No, I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be fine. Already looks like it's setting. I'm tempted to put a little bit more in. Let's put another 5 grams in. Let's put another 5 grams in. And I think we can. Now we'll just be able to pour it straight in. So. No, I'm putting 10 in because that's what I weighed out. So another 10 grams of the citric acid. Like that. Now let's have a taste. Another teaspoon to wash up. This is where my washing up comes from. That's better. That's better. So remember that I put an extra 10 grams in. Obviously, the recipe in the description won't be the full 3 litres worth. I can't imagine that many people are going to make 3 litres worth of lemon posset. Unless you've got lots of people coming off Christmas Day or holidays and things like that. So. The container's ready. Pour in, so it'll have cooled enough. It's no longer going to be that dangerous to pour around. So get some containers there, and I'll show you the best way to kind of transfer. When you're dealing with hot pans and things, it's kind of quite difficult. So what you're best off doing is having 2 jugs in your kitchen, 2 plastic jugs. Put one into the mixture and then pour that mixture into a fresh jug, and then you're not going to get any drips going absolutely everywhere. So I'll do that. It's a bit cumbersome. So that one stays dirty. I'm going to use that again to fill up this other jug that I've got here, which I'm going to use to pour into the moulds. So we're not going to get any drips. We don't need to clean the jug or anything like that. Just pour straight into mixture like that. Pretty straightforward. They are best made 2 days before you need them. So like anything, like a creme brulee or like lemon curd or anything like that, things improve with a little bit of time to develop the flavours. So these are best off made. Certainly you can get away with the night before. So made on the night, left in the fridge, and then can be used the next day. You can get away with that, but ideally they really want to be in the fridge for a couple of days, and then they become more creamy, and the lemon juice kind of permeates, and its juice and zest permeates all the way through, and you get a much nicer flavour. But you know, I think you don't always have the kind of luxury of time. So 2 days, 3 days, Even better, 4 days. You don't really want to be hanging around for much more than 4 days. But certainly 2 days is good. 3 days is better. 1 day at push or overnight. So, but you can see what you do, and then you just, this jug stays dirty. Pour the posset from that jug into the other jug, and then kind of repeat the process. But that's it. So we'll see what they're like. They should set up, because it looks like it's setting up already. So they should set nice and firm, and I'll give one a try tomorrow, and kind of give the verdict. And I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to save that time of faffing around with squeezing lemons. And there we go. That's definitely worked. Certainly set, solid. That one is all the it's a bit bumpy on top because it's the scrapings from around the pan. So if one's going to get eaten, it's going to be this one. So it's solid. Is it a little bit too solid? No. That's delicious. That works, and it's about the right acidity for it as well. So I won't do the recipe for 3 litres of cream in the description. I'll do the recipe for maybe 1 lemon, which will make about 3 lemon possets, and kind of say if you want to make it with lemon, or if you want to make it with citric acid. Either or, I kind of think works. Or if you ever had to make a lot and you didn't buy enough lemons and you had some citric acid, that would certainly work. But there you go. Lemon posset made with citric acid.